When you were younger and in college, was there any question about what Fach you were? And what advice do you have for young singers who are struggling between Fachs?
Yes. So, did I know my voice category? Was it ever in question? And what advice for young singers? Before I learned my technique and I was using my tongue and my jaw, I could create a lot of sound. And it had a lot of squealo. It was really bright and ugly. But I could create a lot of sound. And I got stuck in this lyric mezzo thing. But it's where it was a pretty easy place to find. I mean, my voice moved, so I would do Rosina. I had a musical propensity that I could sing Mozart. As I've gotten a bit older, the technique, the voice is filled out, I've found a place sort of in the cracks, Zwischenfach, we call it. And at the same time, there was Cecilia Bartoli, Magdalena Kojena, doing these things that were just a little bit outside the boundaries of traditional lyric mezzo. But this idea of traditional Fach is very modern. Back in the day, everybody used to sing everything. And it's a big answer because the orchestras were different, they tuned differently, the theaters were different. More is required of us now. Orchestras are tuning higher and higher. So if you're a Verdi baritone, all of a sudden that repertoire is a very different beast. Singing some of the bel canto roles that I do, it's a very different thing. The advice is, find your groove. What is easy? It doesn't mean things will come easily, but when you're young, it's going to be trial and error a little bit, because you're still acquiring technique. So maybe your voice really will be spinto, but you don't have the technique yet. You have to just find that place where it flows, where you don't have to go into the caverns for resource to make it happen, and where you can sustain that vocal place over a 3-hour evening. But I think when you're young, and especially if you sense that your voice might be on the bigger side, you just have to have patience. Okay. Look at somebody like Christine Goerke. Do you know her? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lisa Lindstrom. Bigger voices that had to just sit on the sidelines for a while their voice caught up with their body, or their body caught up with their voice. Yeah, it's a little bit trial and error, and unfortunately I don't think there's one set piece of advice. But if you're having to make it happen, it's not the right place. Because ultimately, again, I go back to sports. You look at the perfect golf swing. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's the easiest thing in the world. So home for you will be the place where it's easy, with all the work underneath.
Thank you.
Well, I certainly think, and I hope you all agree that this has been a tremendous afternoon with Joyce.
Yeah.